Hello and welcome to the video. So in this video, I will show you how we can call an API into your AX application. I'm using AX 2009. I think the newer version will work well, but let me try to demonstrate in this version of AX. So here you can see we have a very simple web application, ASP.MVC web API, and it will this is very simple. I just create a from a template and add some more code inside the action here. So this API will return a list of product model like this. So I define a class called product model here. We have ID, name, and sales price for this. Very simple. And then I hard coded the list in the return. So when you run this application, you can see like this. And when you access the API, you can see the value like this. So it is an XML result. So we need to process it, handle it inside our AX application. So for AX part, we have a table. The product table will have three fields like the model we have in the API, in the product model in the API. And then that is all we need for this table. And then we will have a form to display the result. Let me show you the form. A very simple form here. A button here to call the API. And all the result will display on this grid for you if you success in calling the API. So let's go to the button and go to the list method here. The click method here will help us call the API. So I try to call API with this one, and so to call API, need to find something before calling. As you can see in our API, we have the base URL here. It should be the home page, the base URL for your application. So because I'm using the example from the Visual Studio, we have a local host running here. So let's try to define it in your AX application. Okay, so first thing first, we need to define a base URL, and let's put the result into this one. Okay, let's go. Paste it here, and then we need the endpoint, and this should be your APIs, that value here. We don't need this slot anymore, so let's go. And then to call a request, to send a request, you need a class from the system.net library. So let's go system.net web request, and let's call it request. And when you call the request, if you success, you can get a response. So let's use the response.net.response, no, not endpoint, response. It should be web response, and I'll call it response. Okay. So these two objects will, these two type will help us to call the API. Also, we need some class to handle the result in string. So we need to use system.net.stream, security stream, call it stream. Also, we need system.net no, not .net, but .io. Sorry for that. .io.stream and .io stream reader. So that is the thing that we need, and we also need some CRR object to get the exception, and also the error message. Okay, and let's try to XML data handler. So in this, we will declare some XML element. We need document first. Document. I call it XML doc. XML element. Root. It should be the root of the file. So when you call the API, you have this result back, and this is your root. This is the root node that you need to read from the result, from the response. So let's try. Okay, then we also need some. We will get a list of the records. So we will have a XML record list here. Okay. But it should not be the element, but it should be the node list. The node list means this one. So we get the list first, and then we read every node here to get the result inside it. So the next thing we need to do is XML element, call it XML record. Oh, sure. So what is the XML record? It should be this one. This is every element in the collection that you get back from the request. So, but every record will have a list of fields like this. So we need somewhere to store it. Let's go to XML node list and call it XML field. Okay. And then we need some variable for iterate the result. So let's call it int I, also item count. And I think that is really enough for us to handle the result. So let's try with this one. We need to create an interrupt permission thing that we need to bypass the security of the system. So let's say interrupt kind CR interrupt and then assert. Okay. Then let's try to make a request. Let's instantiate the request here equal to system.net.web request create. Okay. So we need to paste an URL into this. So let's try to use the string interpolation of AX empty %1 %2, and then pass in the base URL and also the endpoint that we declare on the top. Okay. So let's try. I put a try catch block here to make sure we can catch some exception. Catch exception should be CRR error. And when we get the error, we need to assign it to exception object here and get that exception. And then if we have the exception object, No, we can log it to the system. String format %1, and then let's get the error message first. Error message equal to xstat xstat get inner exception. F7 to see our code is correct or not, so we have some problem. Empty state. Okay, this is complaining about this, so let's try to handle this. But first we need to log the exception if we have one. Error message. Okay, and in this place we will use the response equal to request dot get response. Okay, so if we are success, we can go to the breakpoint here. Okay, and let's try to run this, see if it works. So save the form and then run it, and let's try to call it. As you can see, we can go here, so our code is working. But let's see, we have a response. Yeah, we have a response here, but we need some way to show the result, because you cannot see the details inside AX for the system.NET classes instances. So let's try to close this one, and then close the debugger here and go to the click method. So we have the response, so let's try to use the reader. We have a reader above, so let's call reader equal to new system.io.stream reader, and we will pass the response into this. Because it's just a reader, so we need to read all the content of the result, and we should have a variable here for the result. So I try to assign XML result response, okay, equal to reader. Some problem with this. Let's see. With 2n maybe. We have the compiler is yelling at us. Response problem. It should be a stream, so we need to call the get response stream here. Okay, so we should be good with this, and if we can go here, line 47, we should see the result in this. So let's try to run it again. F8 to save it. Save the form, then open it and run. Okay, we can come here. So as you can see, we have a result, but it is in the JSON format. Typically, AX will not handle this kind of format because this is new to the AX 2009. So we need another approach to read the data. So how can we get back the data in XML? So let's try to stop this one, close the form, close the debugger here, continue with the method here. So what we need to do is we need to call request.set content type. So in this we will pass the text/XML. So with this line we can get back the result in XML. Let's see if we can get it. Okay, run it and see. So now we have the result in XML like we see here in this. So that's good. Okay, then we can continue with our API call example. So now we have the result here. We need to read it. So handle the XML result. First thing first, we need to use the XML document equal to new XML document, and we use this object instance to load. See, we have this. Yeah. Load the XML file with the XML response here. I think we should be good. We have the root one. Now we need to load the XML first, and then we will get the root of the XML file. So should be XML document get element name, element by tag name, get name by element, and let's have this one. Copy this one, paste it here. Okay, and then now we have the root. Load the XML string to file. So okay, and the string. Get the root node here, and then we need a list of the records. So XML record list equal to XML root dot child nodes. So what are child nodes? These are child's node. So we need to count the nodes, count the record in the collection. So item count equal to XML record list length. Okay, so this should be 3 because we have 3 elements in this array here. So let's go iterate through the result here. For I equal to 0, I less than item count, I plus plus. So we should have XML record equal to that item I, because we are loop through the records in the list, so we can have one record here. And for the fields, we need to use this XML field equal to XML record dot child nodes. So child node of this one is the. So let's continue with this. So we need some variable to store the data. So let's try to use. So declare it here. To be product ID, product name, and for the price we use the real sales price. Okay, and then let's try to assign the value product ID equal to XML fields item 0 dot in the text. Okay, ID. This is the field and this is the inner text that we want. Okay, for the name, product name equal to HTML fields dot item one dot inner text name. Okay, should be this one, 0, 1, 2. So for the 2, the sales price, item 2 in the text, but because it is a numeric value, so we need to cast this. So let's try to use this method, this function, to cast the data. Any to real. Okay, can put anything to make it real, and then we should be good with this. I try to put a breakpoint here. See, we can get the result. So save it F8 and then run the form, call the API. Okay, let's try to load this debugger breakpoint and continue to run it. So as you can see, we have the first one is the bike one, product name should be no brand bicycle, and so sales price should be 120. So we can get the result. So we're doing okay right now. Let's try to continue with this one. For this, we need to insert data to the table. So we need the table. This is the table that we need to do. It has 3 fields. It's called a product table. So let's try to go to this one and declare a product table. I'll call it table 1. Okay. Let's put a breakpoint here. Table 1 dot ID equal to product ID. Table 1 dot name. Oh shoot. Equal to product name, and table 1 dot price, sales price maybe, equal to sales price, and then we can insert data, table 1 dot insert. So at this point we will insert data to the table. After finish all of these, we need to load the data. So we have a form here, so we should have a data source, a product table dot set temp data. We set the table 1 as a data source for this, and then we call a product tables underscore ds to research. So I think that's all we need for this API call. Maybe we need to remove the bypass. Remove the bypass of security above. So let's try to save and run the form again. Call the API. As you can see, we have the result with these 3 values like we have here. So it actually can get the result from this. How to create the form and the table. That's the basic of AX development. You can search more on the internet. But for now, I think we can stick with this. It is a very quick and dirty way to call API. And that is all we need for this API call. To display the result, sine AX. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.